Laughing Brook. Poetry for sensual consciousness. Between a rock and a hard place, there the stream of life flows, all nonetheless. Crippled Army. Crippled Army, crippled army, we're the limping army of a haphazard world. We keep on walking, crippled army, not giving up. We see the crippled, we touch the wound, we spell a healing, a hand of cure. A touch, oh where it hurts. We may be broken, we may be lame, raging thunderclouds of sorrow, pouring torrents full of pain. Yet we burn love, eternal fire. We walk on trust, and there's a path. Crippled army, in our hearts there sparkle stars. When I look at people's lives from the outside, then many of them seem to run along very smooth lines with only small ripples here and there. When I look a little closer, though, or listen to what they tell me, then it seems like all of us have to navigate painful stretches. For some of us, the start into this life is brutal. For others, pain and tragedies come along the way. I certainly had my share of rough and tough in my life. What do I do with those experiences? I honestly believe there's something to be learned from every experience. Saying this, though, doesn't save me from feeling the pain, fear, disorientation, or anger which some moments in my life bring with them. And those feelings are to be felt and not pushed away, even though, just like all of us, I'm not really keen on feeling them. But I also believe I have a choice. Always, even in the most horrid and desperate situations. There's a story I once heard in a radio feature about a woman who grew up in a tiny Bavarian village. As a child and then later as a young woman, she was repeatedly sexually abused by not only one person, but by the local farmer who was sort of the godfather of this little hellhole, and his sons. I will spare you the gut-wrenching details of the story, but in this feature, the woman spoke about a moment where she got to as a young woman. Everything inside her screamed that things couldn't go on like they were any longer. And she had to do something. She realized that she had two choices. One was to kill every single one of those bloody bastards. And the rage inside of her was enormous. Those, sorry, but this is certainly the proper term here, those fuckers had not only ruined her life, but showed not a hint of remorse. But as she pondered about it, she realized she would in a way become just like them and be forever chained to them. So she opted to take on board all the pain, all the humiliation, violation, all the gruesome suffering she had endured, and leave that village to become a therapist and help others who had similar experiences. In doing so, she ever so slowly began to transform the scars inside of her, which will always be with her. But she transformed them into a resource and a strength that became a source of healing in the world. Her background delivered an essential ingredient that fuels the depth of her compassion and work. As painful as it was the very source to truly understand the pain of others and to assist them in finding their own way to go beyond their suffering into the richness and fullness of life. There's this concept of the wounded healer. The very thing that has hurt me so deeply can become the seedbed of a calling to bring healing into the world. M. Scott Peck, in his remarkable book People of the Lie, says at one point, "Evil is live spelled backwards." His observation is that evil tends to suppress and destroy life. Yeah, that is the very nature of evil. Yet this destructive energy is something I can use as an experience to bring life back into the world. The wounded healer helps people to live through their experience in a spirit of nonetheless, and to exercise the freedom of choice to do so, to not let them be defined by their suffering and hunker down in pain, shame, rage, or fear. Help them to not be defined by the people that violated them, but to gain dignity, power, and self-respect by exercising their divine creative freedom to choose their path and who they will be. And in doing so, what has been horrible suffering is turned into the divine spark of creating and fostering life on earth. This is by no means a field for weaklings or hypersensitive pushovers. Getting down to it and facing your deepest, most horrible wounds, and then taking what you have learned to help others and to debunk and speak up against dysfunctional powers that be, takes impressive and commendable strength, courage, and endurance. There's much to be learned from the wounded healers of this world. haphazard world. We keep on walking. Crippled Army, Crippled Army. We're the limping army of a haphazard world. Crippled Army, Crippled Army. We keep on walking. Crippled Army, Crippled Army. Not giving up. 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 We see the crippled. We touch the wound. We spell a healing, a hand of cure, a touch. Oh, where it hurts. Crippled Army, Crippled Army, Crippled Army. We may be broken, we may be lame, raging thunderclouds of sorrow, pouring torrents full of pain. Yet we were love, eternal fire. We walk on trust, and there's a path. We walk on trust, and there's a path. We walk on trust, and there grows the path. Crippled Army, Crippled Army, Crippled Army, Crippled Army, Crippled Army. Oh, Crippled Army, Crippled Army. In our hearts, there's sparkle. Those stars that sparkle in our hearts. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of them, as darkness clouds our sight. Going through such difficult stretches is among the tough things of life. Our next episode, New Moon, will revolve around such times, and why and how they offer invaluable opportunities for expanding who I am. But for today, my friend, the end is near. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a good rating wherever you're listening to it. and maybe share it with a friend. On my website, laughingbrook.net, you can leave a comment. It's always sweet to get one of those. Remember, I'm here in my lonely studio and can't look into your eyes while you're listening. So hearing from you in some form allows me to connect with you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe now is the time. It's free and you'll get New Moon and all the others yet to come as soon as they come out. My name is Laughing Brook. I'm a poet, dancer, mystic, nature coach, and man whisperer. Thanks for listening and keep on flowing, bumping and jumping with the stream of life.